Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Hormel Stadium here in Medford, Massachusetts, as we settle in for the MLU on MLU Live. Don Boyle alongside Jeff Poster will be here for this exciting Eastern Conference Final. The winner moving on to the MLU Championship game on July 13th. We'll have plenty of details on that during this broadcast. Jeff, one quick question. On a warm day, about 84 degrees, wind gusting up to about 24 miles per hour, your thoughts on this big game here in the Eastern Conference?
I think we got a great matchup. DC's coming in hot, a great emotional win for them to get into the playoffs against New York last week. Boston, of course, capping off that perfect 10-0 season. The win might be a little bit of a factor, but I think we're in for a good one.
Yeah, it is going to be a good one. Antoine Johnson down below with one of the stars for the Boston Whitecaps, Jeff Graham.
In your hometown against DC.
Feels fantastic. I mean, part one is over. We were very successful in it, and this is a whole new beginning. We're back on the same level with DC, and we're happy they're here, and we're going to give the fans a show.
Is there any other pressure to win today's game?
We always put a lot of pressure on ourselves every time we take the field. This is nothing new from a pressure standpoint. We expect a lot of ourselves, and we hope to deliver today.
Now, if you had a team to play on the West Coast, who would that be provided today you win? Who are you calling out today?
If we could win today, we would be happy to welcome any team down to Philadelphia to play against any team.
Are you excited about the championship game? Are you looking forward to beating DC today? Do you think it's going to be an easy win, or do you think it's going to be a little tough game today?
Today's going to be a battle. We got a little bit of tough conditions with the wind out here, and anything can kind of happen in that, so it's all about hustling us, doing the basic things we know. Good throws, good catches, being open. That's pretty much it. So it's not going to be easy. We got to play our greatest.
Good luck. I appreciate it. There you have it. Jeff, good luck, brother. There you have it. Back to you guys up there. Tough game, Jeff saying, and it's going to be a good one.
All right, Antoine, thank you so much. And, of course, Jeff Graham, one of the up-and-coming superstars of Ultimate, and he's out of the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, so he knows this turf very, very well. It's interesting. He seems very confident. They should be confident as the Whitecaps come in with a 10-0 record, taking on a very, upstart Washington, D.C. current team right now. I mean, they're starting to really turn the corner.
Yeah, D.C., they had a little bit of a tough go to begin the season. That last couple of bad matchups against Boston, too, but they've turned it around lately, and they've been playing well coming into the playoffs.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of our pregame show right here on MLU Live. It's the Eastern Conference Championship game. The winner moving on to the MLU Championship in just a couple of weeks. The DC Current in town to take on the Boston Whitecaps. Back here at Hormel Stadium, we continue with our pregame coverage of the Eastern Conference Championship game between the Washington, D.C. Current and the Boston Whitecaps, both teams on the field. Down alongside Antoine is Sean Keegan out of the University of Delaware.
Hey, guys, I'm here with Sean Keegan. Sean, you must be really excited to be here in this championship game with an opportunity to play next week in Philadelphia. What is the feeling like?
It's awesome. A lot of people didn't expect us to be here, but we worked hard and fought all year long and earned the right to play Boston here.
Now, you traveled 8 hours today, game day. How does that affect your gameplay?
It doesn't. It gives you a lot of time to think about what you prepared for. Gives you time to bond together as a team. You know, when you're staying at home waiting for the game, it's a long time to just sit around with nothing to do. It's good to be with the team and get focused and get everybody on the same page.
What's the preparation been like since your victory last week to playing Boston this week? What's it been like?
So we're really fortunate to have all the MLU games on tape, so we were able to watch a lot of the Boston Whitecaps games and see what they do effectively, see who they use effectively, and come up with a strategy to try to limit what they're doing.
Cool. Now, final question: if you were to win, what team on the West Coast would you like to play?
Whoever. We're ready for anybody. We're excited to play anybody.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much. Good luck, brother. There you have it. Back to you guys. Game time in just a few minutes.
Right. Antoine Johnson, great work down below with Sean Keegan, again, out of the University of Delaware, and a key performer for the Current. Needs to have a big game here today. It's a beautiful, beautiful night for this Eastern Conference Championship. We'll take a break. Back with the keys to the game right after this.
Hang it up there. Oh, yeah. Trying to strike here. Mark trying to chase it down. The defense is high court goes over the top and skies and scores. Oh, my goodness. Did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing.
Back here at Hormel Stadium, right here in Medford, Massachusetts. Just a gorgeous field for this Eastern Conference Championship game. Boston, the Whitecaps taking on the DC Current. Just trying to get a flavor for what this is all about here today, Jeff. There's a lot of glaring sun right now. Yeah. The gusting wind at about 24 miles an hour. Does that become an equalizer here today?
It definitely does. Both teams will have to play with the conditions. The sun might be a little blind. It's a little blinding in the booth here.
Keys of the game, always important. Let's start with the DC Current.
Well, talking about DC and talking about the playoffs in general, in any sport when you get to the playoffs, it's a brand new season. So DC has a chance here to assert themselves early up against a very tough Boston team. So they got to find that kind of the middle ground between the hucks and the swing plays and be able to capitalize on maybe Boston's shaky defense at times. Again, stay man-to-man for DC. Boston's tough to beat downfield, so if you can keep up with them man-to-man, you're going to have some success against them.
Will Smolinski, one of the assistant coaches with D.C., said you might see some strange marks out here today, using some different of the big guys, the lengthy guys, as marks today versus going downfield to cover the cutters. D.C.
maybe trying a couple of different marks than they used to against in the past two games they played Boston. So we'll see if that switches up Boston's offense a little bit.
Obviously for Boston, they have some keys to victory also, although it's been very consistent all year long with 10 wins and no losses.
Yeah, it's tough to nitpick when against the Boston Whitecaps, but you need to keep DC throwing that side-to-side swing game. Keep it in the hands of Kolek and Keegan, just going back and forth. Don't let them beat you downfield. And, of course, get those points up on the board, score early and score a lot if you're Boston. That's been their success. They put their foot on the gas, and they don't let up the whole night.
Just about set to get this one going with the opening pull. We'll see how the weather, the wind, in fact, will affect the flight of the disc here today. And just want to mention, to keep up with all the news and events from around the league, like us on Facebook, MLU on Facebook at facebook.com, MLU Ultimate, and follow the league at twitter.com/MLU or ML Ultimate. So there you go, and really enjoy it and be part of it all, and we'll take you right up to championship days. Should be exciting. Two teams will play a little bit later on the West Coast, and we'll have some coverage of that right here on MLU Live. San Francisco and Seattle, the battle for the second championship spot. And nice atmosphere with the DJ and the first poll from left to right to get this underway. And, it's a poll that goes rather deep. And what do you expect right now?
Well, yeah, that's Teddy Brouwer-Jarris pulling, and he does a great job to start Boston's pull off and get their defense down the field. So we'll see what Boston's defense has in store tonight.
So the Current with the first touch. They do like to go way downfield. Kolick will play it along, and right now they're being bottled up by that Boston defense. Boston will really try to go after the juggler early in the game and try to make things easy, although the Current very fit. I thought they showed that last week with a big fourth quarter surge in their win over New York to make it into this playoff situation. That's Keegan, who we interviewed in the pregame, lays it out to the right. And Doy, who can certainly travel with a long huck downfield. And look at that speed. He's sliding. Catch by Kolick.
All right, catch by Kolick.
Actually, that was Schaffner with the catch, number 90. And then the float in for the score.
Number 90, Mark Schaffner.
Well,
DC with the catch for the score.
Sorry, Don. DC taking advantage of the wind, moving right to left. And you can see it. They're ready to go downfield when they've got that wind. Just a great quick point there, and that's what they need to do. Get out and get out early.
So DC striking quickly. And they have the 1-0 lead. So very effective. They broke that stingy defense of Boston, Jeff, and they're able to capitalize. I really like the strategy. Play it short, kind of bait them in a little bit, and then use that long huck that they're so fond of to much success.
And that's normally been Boston's success rate on defense, is being able to stop those long hucks. But right there, DC breaking out and getting the good cuts that let them down the field. So we'll see how Boston responds.
There's the pull. As you can see, the wind might be aiding that a little bit as it slides it all the way into the end zone, and that's where the Whitecaps will get their first touches. They are terrific offensively, and you cannot make too many defensive mistakes. They'll make you pay. As they work the near sideline here to get things going. And they travel out of play here. Looks like he was pushed out to the near side. Was Cricket, Josh Marquette. Yep, that is going to be an infraction, 10-yard infraction. So physical play early on here, Jeff.
Trying to assert themselves, like I said. Whole new season.
So Marquette calls himself Cricket. Oh, there's a cameraman taking it right off the side of the head. Wow. They threw that right down the sideline and bonk.
You gotta watch out even when you're on the crew, I guess.
Absolutely. Those camera guys do terrific work. One of the reasons why some of the sensational plays that you see in Ultimate are being featured time and time again on ESPN. Some terrific camera work down below. So the result is a turnover, and there you go. DC gives it right back. It's a little sloppy by both teams here in the opening quarter. DC with a 1-0 lead. Good catch here to the near side by Pryle. He's a good one. One of the up-and-coming stars. That's Graham. Long huck downfield. Pryle would will catch it on the rebound off the tip by Cranston. It looked like Cranston had that play beautifully, and he, could not make the defensive play, and we're tied at 1.
Well, Cranston did a big mistake there. You see Pryle shake his hand. He didn't tip. He tipped the disc up and gave Pryle a second chance. If you're going to make that D, you got to smack that disc down and let Pryle have no chance getting that one. Instead, the little rebound, he gets an opportunity.
That's a great point. So 1-1 early on. Both teams using the huck downfield to get it all done here, Jeff. No surprise. They have terrific players. talking to Jason Adams prior to the start of the game here, and he mentioned Pryal is so good after the toss of getting downfield and becoming an open receiver downfield. He displayed that.
He's got long legs. He can move quick.
Schaffner's going to float one downfield. It's going to hang and hang, becomes a sky disc, and it's going to be knocked away. Doy tried to find his way underneath it, but the defense just converged quickly, Neff included, to knock it away.
Yeah, great D there by Will Neff. That's been his specialty. He's kind of the captain on defense. Graham's the captain on offense.
So another chance. Boston's going to take a long huck down the field, and look at that layout catch. Oh, that's Jack Hackett. How did he do it? Chasing it down.
Boston showing their speed right there with Hatchett, running that one down. He spikes the disc in celebration. What a put there for Boston, and Hatchett just sticking with the play.
What a catch by Hatchett. That's good for the goal. He got over the goal line. What a rundown that was.
And into the wind all the same, too. We haven't seen a score yet go in that direction. Boston knows how to play with the wind, the conditions, and they did it perfectly right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce that the Hug-a-Buck Challenge has upped its game to having a prize in between every quarter, whether you're closest or you hit it first. The first person to hit the target from the stands with a Frisbee wins $250 cash. Other than that, we have prizes in between every quarter that I'll go over. So go to the stands, get your Hug-a-Buck, get your Whitecaps gear, get your food from the truck. Let's do it.
So there's the pull downfield. Let's see what DC can do, trailing by the score 1-0. One of the things they did not want to do, Jeff, is fall behind this Whitecap team early. Get out of their game a little bit. Hong to control it. Played it up ahead. Nice catch right there by Gordon under pressure. Wodach, terrific player in his own right. Oh, the pass, nice score. What a nice catch on the far side. Was that Doy with that athletic catch with his left hand? I believe it was. No, it might have been Moldenhauer on the far side.
He kind of just laid on top of it. That's the player coach Moldenhauer out there leading his team. And both teams showing some success going into the wind there. And it did die down a little bit. But Moldenhauer, the nice grab. And DC's doing a nice job moving fast, moving quick down the field against Boston's defense, trying to keep up in this game. So we're tied at 2 now.
So DC with a great response, and they tie it here at 2, Jeff. They're hurrying a player on the field right now. That's Selmy. Selmy, one of the shorter guys. He's going to pull it from right to left here.
Wind picking up just a little bit on the pull, so this should be interesting at how far down the field it can go.
Well, it has some good height to it. Look at it get hung up there, and it's going to drop down. So you can see the difference by about 30 yards on the pulls from left to right, much deeper than the pulls from right to left. So the Whitecaps in control again. Pryal has already scored, plays it along to Graham. He collaborated with Pryal on their first. Coming back smartly to it was Cricket. That's Josh Marquette. Playing a little short game right now, a little triangle game. Trying to break those marks. There's an infraction, a push, and Cooper asked to back up 10 yards.
Receiving travel on Boston, you'll walk it back 10 yards.
Ryan Todd on the mark. Played out to the near side. That was not an easy catch right there in that little dump. This is Graham. Lays it over the top nicely to the near side. Pryal and Graham playing some catch, and now on the receiving end, Danny Clark for the score. If he heats it up, it could be a long day for DC.
Nice little dump-in pass there from Pryal, but the real throw was the scuba right before from Jeff Graham, again, to Peter Pryal. Pryal might not have been in, but the two of them are connecting very well so far tonight.
They really are.
I guarantee we'll see a lot more of that going forward in this one.
Maybe we'll take another look at that. Maybe not. Of course, we'll have some highlights for you at halftime also. Also, the plays of the week coming up at halftime. We'll talk about the potential matchups next week. Well, actually, a couple of weeks from now in the championship game of the MLU. Franklin Field in Philadelphia. Ever been there before?
I have not. I can't say I've been to Pennsylvania that much, to be honest.
That game's over now. Okay, it is official. Dogfish with a win over the Rainmakers. They do it in the last minute, 18-17. So the winner of this one taking on the Dogfish, who win by 1 over the Rainmakers. So that score just coming along to us.
I'm sure they'll be tuning in now to check out their potential competition.
I'm trying to figure out how they played earlier than us on the West Coast. Everything always starts later than us, doesn't it? So we have one team in the MLU championship. Alan Kolick to control. Right here, Boston with a 3-2 lead, 5:35 ticking down in the opening quarter. Kolick, who is a terrific player, we'll see him in some of his handiwork at halftime. He can certainly sky and pass. Nice little turnaround pass on a dish, and they got it in quickly. That's just well coordinated, and it ties it at 3.
Here's the thing that I love about Kolick. He catches the disc, he throws it, and he's immediately cutting to the next spot so you can get it right back to him and he can handle. Kolick doesn't miss throw on it many times. As we see it again here, he makes that first cut. He's going to dump it over to his right. Quick score. Kolick moving fast. And DC doing a nice job keeping pace with Boston.
Tommy Doy on the receiving end, so 9 from 99. 9's a magical for DC on that drive down the field. They tie it up at 3. So back and forth they go here in the opening quarter. Both these teams have been very good in fourth quarter play. Boston's overcome a couple of 3-goal deficits in the fourth quarter, and their undefeated regular season trip. And, of course, DC had to win from behind to beat the Rumble last week to make their way into the playoffs. The first matchup between these two teams was a thriller, a 2019 win by Boston over DC. Boston also won 24-13 and 23-19. If my calculator worked correctly, they outscored DC 67-51 in those 3 games.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Brian Zidd, who's a terrific player, just had it touched. Now Graham dumps it over the top again. That's one way to break that mark. Finds Marquette. Cricket takes a look. And the feed and in for the score. Just too easy for Alex Cooper. He's a possession player, but he got open for the goal that time. And Boston scores another to take a 4-3 lead.
Yeah, we don't see Cooper making those cuts too much. He's more of a handler, but he does a nice job there, kind of a fake cut farther down in the back, and he gets the DJ to play his signature song so we can see that signature dance. Here, take a look at it again. Cooper just, he fake going deeper. He takes one step back, and Marquette able to connect with him in the quick little throw.
That was just too easy, too. I thought that defense kind of loosened up along the goal line there. So the pull from Boston from right to left going into that biting wind from the standpoint that it's gusty at about 24 miles per hour. It's not very relieving, however, of the very hot temperatures we have here in Medford, Mass. That sun's still rather strong. And there you go, the effects of that wind. Another short pull. Kolick upfield, the O-line players out there right now for DC. They are so talented. Doy has already been an impact player. Kolick has 2. On the far side with 1. Kolick always getting to that disc. They try to trap him along the sideline. There finds Doy. Yep.
He's got it back.
He's going to have to leap a little for that one. Coverage is pretty tight by Robin Myers. He'll play you like glue, and hey, one of the reasons why they turn it over right there. That tight defense forcing perhaps an ill-advised pass to the far side. It was knocked down by a teammate. So Boston in control. Kolick nearly had a steal. He deflected it, and I tell you, that's great, great anticipation. Wow. That was Simmons.
Yeah, good heads-up play.
This is Neff. Flicks it out to the right. I used to love the huck. I'm starting to like the flick, the way these guys flick it downfield now.
Well, he can do it all.
Simmons, who saved the day a moment ago, at least a possession. Now it's back, looks like to Myers. Myers will play it up ahead into traffic. Ill-advised, and Schaffner will steal it away with that long reach. Kolick will play it down into the back end of the end zone. Easy score. Ong wide open for his second goal.
Yeah, well, you can give Kolick a cutter downfield with no one covering. He's going to make you pay. Kolick saw Ong there all alone. just kind of floats it up and into him. So we get ready. Here's the replay. Get it to Kolek. That's a smart move to begin with. Kolek sees his man running down the field. Nobody within even a mile. I'm just watching it, and that's mine, he said. So great throw there from Kolek. Connection with Ong.
Jeff, I think you could have caught that one.
I hope so.
That was buttery, as a former color commentator used to describe it as. Buttery.
I don't know if that's a good phrase for ultimate, though. You don't want to catch a buttered disc.
No,
It might
not
slip
at all.
around in your hands a bit.
I agree with you. I just stole the phrase, that's all. 4-4 score, 3:34 remaining in the opening quarter. Nice crowd on hand, still making their way in for this pivotal game. Dogfish win earlier. Last minute heroics to get it all done. The winner of this one taking on the Dogfish. Let's see. Tied at 4. Boston quickly moving it down. Pry along the far side, marked there by Cranston. Cranston will be called upon to be a big mark today. His defensive effort much needed. Looks like Boston really getting into some rhythm right now.
Yeah, they've gone those little short throws, and they're able to break their marks nicely.
That dipped a little bit. Nice catch there by Cooper. Athletic play, and he finds a wide open player on the far side for the score. It looked like Graham on the receiving end.
There was Jeff Graham. Jeff Graham actually hasn't been involved as much the last few games. He's been dumping it back more, but this time we see him make a good cut, and of course he's going to make that grab.
Pretty feed by Cooper. We'll see it again.
Yeah, Cooper's, he sees Graham making the cut, and there's not many people who can beat Graham. Graham a little just shortcut over to the far sideline there, and easy score for Boston.
Yeah, I think we've said that now a couple of times. Easy scores by Boston. They lead at 5-4. Still nip and tuck here in the opening quarter with 3:03 remaining. Tell you what, we've seen a couple of great catches already. Of course, the Friction gloves are the official glove provider of the MLU. All-weather gloves, specially designed for the ultimate players. A little tackiness, a little receiver glove, a little rubberized grip for better catches and throws. And, the Friction glove is a good one, used by a lot of these MLU players. And check it out at frictiongloves.com. Pull out a play on the far side. They're really struggling to throw that pull into the wind.
Yeah, that's going to play a factor all night. Pulling that direction is going to be tough, and we'll probably see more pulls like that one than we've seen so far tonight.
Well, many feel Boston should win this game. Odds-on favorite to move on to the championship. But DC trying to say something about that. And big possession here. Do not want to fall a couple behind early on and get out of that game plan. Too close a mark by Neff, and the infraction will be stepped off.
Yeah, a couple of extra hands there for Neff now. Notice Neff sporting that nice new mohawk look for him.
Schaffner, nice catch. He got behind the defense of Turp, and he scores. And they make it look easy, does DC.
Yeah, great throw there. Again, Neff maybe a little costly there with the extra bit of contact. It gives DC a couple of yards up, and we see the play here. Good throw, backhand throw, and all the way at the end of the field, Schaffner able to beat his man down. So DC doing a nice job making some deep field cuts and outrunning Boston so far tonight.
It's really what they're all about. I think their trademark is kind of the run and gun team in the MLU, right? They want to break behind you. They got some good-sized guys that can run. Schaffner can run. Also a noted thrower, obviously, one of the best. He can flick that disc about 75, 80 yards downfield. It's amazing to watch. There's a big pull into the wind again. Let's see how this sets up for the Boston O. We're tied at 5. Another short pull, as you might expect. Cooper. Let's see if the defense for DC gets any better. Clark behind the defense, being chased down by Johnson. It's up for grabs. It's off the goalpost. That's 3.
Not really many field goals there. Malachek, little too much on that one. See the ability for him to throw it deep, but I don't think Danny Clark could have reached up and grabbed that one.
Haven't mentioned Muffin yet, so he's finally getting involved here for the Boston Whitecaps. That was a result of the wind just taking that thing away. How about Elrico Johnson? We'll see him at halftime for that great catch he made. We got to tie him out here at Hormel Stadium. We're tied at 5. This is the MLU Eastern Division Eastern Conference Championship game. We'll be back with more of it right after this. All right, beautiful day. Fans enjoying it down below. I think they were giving away some Boston Whitecap towels, right? For the first 200 or so coming on in.
Now it's free T-shirts.
Free T-shirts down below now. I think the towel's on your way through the entrance, and now the T-shirts. Up here. I'd love one. 5-5, you score. Timeout continues down below. And, well, I think for the current, you look at the score with 2:05 remaining in the opening quarter. They're right where they want this game to be right now.
Yep, they're all knotted up here. They're doing a nice job. I've said on offense, they're beating Boston down the field nicely. And that's something we haven't seen too much this season for Boston, not being able to catch up to their men down the field. So if DC can keep it up, we're in for what should be a very close game all the way through.
Yeah, one of the things they've done, they've held Boston to just one 2-goal run, which is key. Don't let them get on that offensive run.
Nice grab right there.
Absolutely. So out of the timeout, Kolick will play it on back. This is McComb to the far side to Keegan. Keegan, dangerous flick around to Mark to Doy. Doy smartly took a nice angle to it. Oh, dangerous pass floating away. It's going to be turned right over. Nobody could grab it. Now Ajaris will take it. Kind of ill-advised. I thought he tried to force that pass in. He had some time remaining. And now a timeout taken by the Boston Whitecaps as they want to change up their players and put the offensive players out. So that's what they're going to do. 1:36 remaining in the opening quarter. You can tell the way they're calling the timeouts. The strategy's already in play.
Well, when you're playing in this wind, you get their offense out there who's used to handling it. So good, smart time out there for Boston, and we'll see what their offense can do with great field position.
5-5 in the opening quarter. We're right back.
Hang it up. There. Oh, yeah. Trying to strike here. Mark on chases it down. The defense is high court. Goes over the top and skies and scores. Oh, my goodness. Did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing.
All right, right back here at Hormel Stadium. Timeout just about over. Both teams coming on. The specialty players defensively and offensively now on the field in a 5-5 opening quarter. The winner of this game taking on the San Francisco Dogfish. Congratulations. Making their way to the inaugural MLU championship game with a hard-fought late win over the Seattle Rainmakers just a few moments ago. Boston's Marquette to control it to the near side here. He is a tough man to cover and a pretty good handler, obviously, if he's going to start the play here. And they play it on back. What are they going to try to do here? Now they check out left to Clark.
Looks like they're swinging it all the way around. Just going to play it out until they can find that good cut into the end zone.
And there it is, the cut in the score.
Right on cue.
Alachek on the receiving end, and Brandon has one. Muffin, who's a pretty good thrower in his own right on the receiving end.
Yeah, you don't hear Alachek catching one in the end zone too much, but right there.
And we'll give a 6-5 lead to Boston. I like the nicknames, but I want to know, what's going on, how they acquire these nicknames.
I couldn't tell you. As we see Boston doing a nice job swinging it left to right. They started right to left, and Jeff Graham finding a good cutting Malachek there right in the front corner of the end zone.
Nice touch by Graham. So the pull from right to left, 118. Are they playing the Muffin Man song down below? Indeed they are.
I think so. It's DJ. He knows the right cues here.
He's into it. Wow. I like it. Keep playing it. Makes me feel young again. Here's your pull. It's been into the wind. It's been difficult. Although the wind seems to be subsiding, or I guess not. There's your answer. Now it's going to spin around like a top. Knocked down to midfield. So DC with a short field to work with here. Boy, Kolek is getting a lot of touches. Schaffner with that flick. Hangs it up there. It's going to be up for grabs. Sky caught in bounds. They say no. So Boston with a chance to take a 2-goal lead now.
It was a nice throw, but the wind going that way just carried it all the way out the back. Tough call there for DC.
Yeah, Ong just ran out of real estate on that back line. Here's what, well, the opportunity Boston was looking for to seize that 2-goal lead. They have not enjoyed one of those. They lead 6-5 here with 40 seconds remaining in the quarter, so the clock has become a bit of an enemy or a challenger. And we get a whistle. I've had an infraction away from the disc. No, they're going to back it up. I didn't see that one.
Like you said, Don, I think it was away from the disc against Boston.
The chess match has begun.
Now they move back up.
Yeah. Maybe a non-call. That's laid out. Oh, that's a great saving catch to keep it going. Wow, Myers just laying out to make that play. To the near side again, some more physical play as Hatchett was played physically on the mark. Moldenhauer, the head coach of the DC Current. His assistant is Will Smolinski. And that's out of play on the far side.
Wind in effect that time.
So 12 seconds remaining for DC to cash in and not to score at 6.
Always interesting when you get these late end of quarter opportunities, how the team wants to handle it. If they're going to try and go for it right away, they'll kind of milk the clock.
Schaffner will lay it out. On trying to get to it, and it's over the back line again. Again, that wind just carrying a long throw by Schaffner, who's usually terrifically accurate. And the first quarter will expire. 6-5 through 1. Boston with the lead over Washington, D.C. Oh, wait a second. We may have an infraction down there. We may have one more play left. Saw that in the game in Philadelphia a few weeks ago, in which the quarter never ended. I think there was like 3 or 4 plays. It went on and on and on.
Well, Boston will get one chance early, just kind of huck it down the field and hope for the best.
Well, the clock reading, I believe, 2.5 seconds remaining. So they've reset the game clock here in the opening quarter. Difficult to throw that huck downfield now. It's into that strong wind that's gusting towards 24 miles per hour. Yeah, not even going to attempt. That's going to do it for the quarter. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with more right here on MLU Live. It is the Eastern Conference Final, and the winner to take on San Francisco. It's a good one. Boston 6 and DC 5.
Hang it up there. Oh, yeah. Trying to strike here. Mark trying to chase it down. The defensive tight court goes over the top and skies and scores. get that?
Amazing!
All right, welcome right back here to Hormel Stadium in beautiful Medford, Massachusetts. Through one important quarter of play, Boston with a 6-5 lead over the D.C. Current. The winner to take on San Francisco in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on the 13th of July. Looking forward to that. And, well, Jeff, first quarter, did it go Boston's way, D.C.'s way?
I think I'm going to say it's 50-50, really. Both teams played well. The wind did factor in a couple of times for D.C. there at the end, going on our right. A couple of discs just carried out too far. So if they were able to keep those inbounds, D.C. would probably be winning right now. So, you know what, I'll lean more towards D.C., especially coming in against a juggernaut like Boston. They're able to keep this within a one goal. I'm going to give the first quarter to D.C.
All right. Alan Kolek, I thought, kind of good segue in, really played his game, his completion.
Yes.
Percentage is very high, league leader in that during the regular year. Why not more of the same here? But difficult conditions, and he's getting the job done for his squad.
Yeah, well, these guys, they've played in these conditions before. They know it's nothing too unfamiliar with them. Sometimes a little tough to predict just given the day, but Kolek doing a nice job getting those passes off, making that quick cut. That's what I really love. He right on his feet after that, making that quick cut and get that disc back because he's their best handler out there, and he's going to find the open man.
So we're just about set here for quarter number 2. It's a good one. Again, that sun starting to dip behind the high school in the yonder there. Is that a new Medford High School? I think it is on the far side.
So.
It's absolutely
I should
gorgeous.
Know.
Yeah.
I live right down the street.
You live down the street. Yeah, you should try going to high school.
Yeah.
That was only a joke, Jeff. I'm only kidding.
Thank you.
I should go back. I'd love to go back. I'd do it all again. I would have played golf in the spring, I think.
I would have played more Ultimate.
That too. That too. You can play that year round, though.
That's right.
You? Yeah. Certainly a sport that is growing, this game of Ultimate. I know Jason Adams, the head coach of Boston, just loves this concept. Had a long chat with him prior to the start of the game, and so pleased that his group has come together so cleanly, so nicely. This is Jake Taylor to control. Taylor's time ticking down on that possession clock. Over to Graham, had a slide to make the catch. Fakes the huck. Doesn't shake the mark. Pretty good defense displayed by D.C., and they force him to dump it off and swing it around to the near side and restart. This is Taylor. He's going to huck it downfield. He's got Clark chugging after it. Clark goes, got it. How do you like it, Danny Clark?
He seems to always be in the right spot there, deep, Danny Clark. And hucking into the wind, Jake Taylor. Nice job there.
Well, that opens up a 7-5 lead, and for the first time in this Eastern Conference Championship, it's a 2-goal advantage.
See here, Jake Taylor, he looks a couple of different directions, and then he sees Danny Clark. Danny Clark's got some speed as he comes onto your screen now and able to run that one down. Good deep downfield cut and into the wind from Jake Taylor. So a good throw there. His nickname's Frogger. I don't know where that one comes from.
Yeah. Danny Clark out of Salisbury University on the receiving end. A moment ago, as we take a look at the Whitecaps sideline, a very confident team. Some might say a little bit cocky on the Boston Whitecaps.
Well, when you go 10-0, it's tough not to be.
Yeah, this game kind of interesting. The only unbeaten team in the MLU taking on the only team to make the playoffs with a losing record with D.C. So it was quite a battle for that second playoff spot in the East between Philadelphia, New York, and this D.C. team. D.C. going for it all downfield. Moldenhauer trying to find the room, and he does to make the catch. Great box out and grab.
And D.C. answering right back. Almost the same play. A little bit maybe shifted down, more of a throw from midfield, but both teams showing they're not afraid to go into the wind and go deep.
What a quick response by D.C. Coach Smolinski had mentioned, Kevin Moldenhauer, of course, is the head coach. I said, well, what's he bring to the team? He goes, well, he's old. He didn't run old there, did he?
He runs there. He beats Hatchett. It was a great throw from Schaffner. Gets the good positioning. That's Moldenhauer. Might be a little bit older, but that gives him more experience, more knowledge about how to play the game the right way. He teaches the young guys, I bet.
Absolutely, and that was a great example how to box out and read the flight. Of course, Schaffner was throwing it to him.
Yes.
He's usually right on the money.
Good throw.
So 7-6, back to a 1-goal advantage for Boston here. Remember, these two teams did play to a 1-goal game. The first meeting on April 27th. Their last meeting was June 1st, 23-19 win for Boston during the regular year. June 1st was a long time ago now. Cricket controlling to the near side. Gotta love that. Look at the break and the throw. It's going to glide down. Clark looking, got it! Did he hold on? He was clipped on the heels. They'll call it a score. What a sky by Clark. Wow.
Great catch there. Both teams just really, I think they're challenging each other. Who can make the more difficult throw downfield in the wind? And that time, Malachek connecting with Clark again. Danny Clark, his ability to hold on to it, as we see again, Malachek with the huck. Clark, he's got to slow down, and that gives a chance for his defender to catch up. And you see the disc actually gets kicked out of his hands when the two guys come down. And that's number 8, Chip Cobb. He's signaling, that was me, he caught it. I love that about Ultimate players. They're very respectful of each other.
Absolutely. Well, when you clip the heels out from your opponent, you better be nice to him. That's got to hurt.
But what a great catch.
Absolutely great catch by Clark. Boy, has he come to play today. He's got 2 goals here in the quarter off of 2 different feeds.
Now, I can't wait to see if DC is going to just try and answer right back with another huck down the field.
I got a feeling they are. Well, they are professionals. Despite that gusting wind, they're starting to understand how that disc is going to fly as they throw into it. Matter of fact, some of their throws into the wind have been much more accurate, the long-distance tosses down. This is Doy on the far side, being marked by Doherty.
Look at Kolek.
Yep, down it goes. And open, Kolek for the score. Schaffner with the pass.
I think we've heard those names quite a bit so far for DC. Schaffner and Kolek connecting. Not quite the huck the last few have been, but still, big throw. The wind had died down a little bit on that point, but Kolek doing a nice job getting open.
Not too much sunlight left here as it dips beyond the high school.
There we see it again. Schaffner on the far side. Sends it all the way out to the middle, and Kolek just really had to wait for it to come down to him. Rob Myers was the only guy close enough, and that's not saying a lot. He was well away from Kolek.
8:13 remaining till halftime. At halftime, we'll have, of course, the catches of the week, defensive plays of the week, and a whole lot more to chat about. We might even have a special guest up in the booth. We'll keep that as a surprise. If it happens, it'll certainly be nice. 8-7 you score here. Back and forth they go. Every time Boston jumps out to a 2-goal advantage, DC has had an answer.
And that's what they need to do if they want to stay alive here against Boston.
Boston has crushed just about everybody in their path. Their margin of victory, an average of 5.9 points per contest. Malachek's going to send it down. Graham now on the receiving end as he sprints out ahead. He's so quick. Could be the face of the MLU, so at least you here on the East Coast at least. This is Marquette now controlling, and they didn't give him enough space there. They might have bumped him, and there's the penalty.
Marquette walks it up to the end zone line.
They just got to gently toss it in. Marquette's going to have to hurry it, and he finds a cutter in the score by Pryle. Peter Pryle with his second.
Nice cut there by Pryle. Sometimes those ones right on the end zone line can be tougher than the big hucks because there's not a lot of room to work with. You don't want to throw it out the back or out of bounds on the side. And Marquette and Pryle doing a nice job connecting on the little short throw. Especially after the whistle, it gave DC's defense time to set up.
A pretty good strategy to actually foul right there to allow your defense to come back and get into position. After Graham had beat him way downfield. So 9-7 you score, still plenty time remaining here in the second quarter. Well, you take a look at the ultimate player, at least for these two teams, some very impressive resumes of where they have gone to play. at the college level and, of course, matriculate. More importantly, get that education, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, these guys have other jobs too. That education clearly paying off for them.
There's a roller out of bounds. So DC will get a short field to work with. Haven't heard from Rob Dulabon yet. Just a pure athlete for this DC team. I tell you, talking about dedication, Dulabon, a guy with that dedication, actually resides in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's a long trip to play his home games in Arlington, Virginia for DC. And to be part of this group, but he's one of their mainstays, but I haven't seen him yet. Oh, look out. That could be dangerous. Oh, I tell you, that's a spin on it.
Nice way to stick with it right there.
That was an important play by On. Now his long huck downfield. Look at that thing get hung up in the wind. Schaffner trying to time his jump, but Willie Neff with that big height advantage just swats it away.
Now we see Will Neff do that a lot this season. He's got such a height advantage on so many players in this league.
Whoops, they turn it right back. The Simmons feed down into the turf. On up ahead, a nice floater all alone, and a score by Schaffner.
I think Schaffner hadn't gotten back yet on defense, and with the turn, it let him kind of just hang out in the end zone right there, and DC taking advantage there. Robin Myers, the tough luck loser on the layout attempt for the catch. As we see it again, they pick it up quick, and Schaffner is all alone there in the end zone.
And it was feathered in nicely. So the pull from left to right, and back and forth we go. It's back to 9-8. The Whitecaps with the lead over DC Current. If you haven't heard, we'll let you know now. San Francisco, the Dogfish, with a win on the West Coast earlier today over the Seattle Rainmakers. Congratulations, they're in the championship game at Franklin Field in Philadelphia on July 13th. I think that's a 6 o'clock start, right? Is that a 6 o'clock?
Sounds right.
Yeah, I think it's 6 o'clock.
These are the things we should know.
Well, sometimes things change.
That's
too.
right.
I have noticed that.
This game changed.
That's right. Salmi with the pull. Boston with the touch, and here they come. That's Taylor. Had a long huck downfield for a score. Picked up a nice assist here in the second quarter. You know, everybody that's playing is contributing in this game today. I mean, it's truly a team effort. I mean, you talk about the superstars and the guys that are your mainstays, but everybody getting involved here in this one.
And that's really the best part about this sport is it's one guy can't beat you because they can't do everything. Team has to work together as one unit out there.
Zid, good feed to the sideline. Clark, he's had a big, gigantic second quarter, you might call it, with a couple of goals. To Cricket, Josh Marquette. Marquette, well marked along the sideline. Had to hurry it up. He's going to play a little give and go, and he makes a receiving catch off the nice feed by Alex Cooper for the score.
I love the give and go. Cooper and Marquette working together. Those quick throws. It's tough to get a defensive man in between them, and you see how they did that very nicely right there.
Really forcing now DC to come up with another answer. 10-8 you score.
As we see it again, Marquette starting it off. He gets the cutting Cooper, and he's going to just give it right back. Right in the corner there. Good running grab. Josh Marquette.
Ryan Todd just a tad late. Ryan Todd knows a lot of these Boston players. Matter of fact, he played on many a team with a lot of the Boston players, so it's kind of a homecoming for Ryan.
A lot of these guys, they all know each other. They've all been
That's
playing
true,
in tournaments against each other for many years.
5:51 remaining till halftime. And you can see Boston with a 2-goal lead and the pull from left to right. That's Hirschberger on the pull. And it's all the way to the end zone, and McComb will pick it up. Oh, that nearly floated out of the reach of On.
Wind's picked up a little bit on this point.
On's pass up ahead. The Wodash slips away and taken right back on the turnover here by Boston. Now they can open up a 3-goal lead. And we're going to get a timeout call. Boston knows the significance of this possession. They'll put the offensive handlers out there. We'll take a break. Your score, 10-8. Boston with the lead over DC.
down the defensive. High court goes over the top and skies and scores.
Oh my goodness! Did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing!
Right back here at Hormel Stadium in beautiful Medford, Massachusetts. And you got a heartwarming story to pass along, a feel-good story about one of the Whitecaps.
Yeah, we just saw Miles Montgomery Butler make that last catch before the timeout. He's not out on the field now as they switch the offense and defense out. But Miles hasn't played in a long time, so it's really good to see him back out on the field. Well, actually, both teams here are probably – you don't see this a lot going into playoffs in most sports. They're about as healthy as they can be right now. Only one player each missing on each team tonight, so good to see Miles back out there.
I think you start to feel a lot better when
Yeah.
playoff time comes around because you want to be out there.
You got to get back in there. These are the ones that really matter.
Absolutely. Coming out of the timeout, the Whitecaps, Marquette will play it up ahead. Graham, they're looking for the 3-goal lead. Feathery pass, nice catch by Clark. Boy, he's putting on an offensive show off those cuts, isn't he?
Yeah.
And they're finding him.
Danny Clark is making all those deep cuts in the end zone, just waiting for him. He made a nice little grab there, kind of tucked it underneath his hand.
It's kind of funny when I was talking to Jason Adams, and, you know, he goes, yeah, we're a superstar, you know. Jeff Graham. I said, my favorite guy is Danny Clark. And look at Mr. Clark's having a big one
That's
today.
his bird dance.
I want his autograph after the game.
See it right here. Marquette gets it over to Graham. Graham's got Danny Clark. Kind of just lets it fall right into his lap there. Good cut there again from Clark. He's a master at that.
So up to a 3-goal advantage now for the Whitecaps. Huge possession. I know we're only in the first half, folks, but this Boston team, when they find their rhythm, they're very,
they don't
very
let
good.
up.
No, they don't.
I've talked to Coach Adams before a few times and asked him if it's tough when the team gets such a big lead, if it's tough to keep their minds in the game, and he said, no way. These guys, they want to beat you, and they want to beat you down, so they'll keep looking to keep their foot on the gas.
Keegan to control it. Dumps it back. Kolick takes a look downfield. Nothing going on. They mark him tightly. Very tight marks all over the field there. Looks like they're nearly going man-to-man defensively right now. The Whitecaps, look at the layout defense. Great anticipation by Willie Neff. He's had a couple of gigantic plays defensively today.
Did we just see the defensive player of the week right there? Maybe.
I'll tell you what, it was sensational. Hatchet with a big score. This D has contributed offensively, too, for Boston. Terry Roth seen some time. One of the youngest players, if not the youngest player on the Boston team.
I believe so.
He's a bit of a spark plug when he comes in. Fraction against DC. Win picking up again. 3-goal lead. 4:24 remaining in the half. Hatchet looking, needs to make a decision. Into the middle. And it's going to sky, and sometimes it's nice to be lucky as good. And Casey Turp on the receiving end on a pass that was not intended for the tall, smart player.
Well, Alex Simmons, I believe, there with the throw, and Casey Turp, it's the disc skied up a bit, but he just had to wait down. Casey Turp's he's got a lot of height out there. You know, we talked about Will Neff having a lot of height, but Turp, he's a lanky guy, as we see right here. Here's Hatchet.
Now, if you ask Hatchet, what would he say? That was intended for who?
I don't know because we saw Simmons point. Was he pointing at Roth? Was he pointing at Turp? The bottom line is Boston scored.
That's right. I think he was looking for Roth. Take a mental note. Ask him that after the game, would you?
He'll tell you he was looking for Turp because that was all intended.
Of course.
There are no mistakes out there.
12-8, 4-goal lead now for Boston with 4:12 remaining till halftime. Well, star power, you talk about it. Jeff Graham leads the league in goals, with 28, 15 assists. Pyle, 24 goals. Marquette, 16 goals. That is just terrific production from this team. And they got Malachek with 10 goals. He's got a goal today, but he's more the thrower. Kolick. Schaffner's going to huck it way downfield. Look at it fly. Todd trying to chase underneath it. The defense, no! Coming over was Doy to make the play.
Beating Neff.
Off the backside, yes, indeed. I think that floated away from Neff a little bit.
Yeah, just enough.
Kolek on the far side. Had to step back a little. Looks, hammers it through the hands of Sean Keegan. Oh, did Keegs take his eye off that one?
Tough play. We do not see Kolek miss too much when he's throwing, but that hammer towards the back of the end zone. Like I said earlier, sometimes those ones around the goal line are tougher because like you don't want it to go out the back. You don't want it to hit the side. And that's an example right there. He threw it a little too hard out the back.
Sean Keegan could not haul it in. Boston's going to sky one way downfield. Here comes a little jump, and oh, Neff trying to use that reach to make the catch, and they're going to call some interference on that and award Neff the catch downfield.
Wow. Called a push. I think Neff wanted just a strip call. Neff not happy right now.
This game has so much at stake, a chance to move on to the MLU championship. Now they're kind of deciding where to start play here. Neff spinning, looking, nice touch up and in for the score. This team is right now playing on all cylinders. As Hirschberger on the receiving end for Boston. They have pulled off a 4-goal run here.
Yeah, I think early on maybe the team's feeling each other out a little bit, but Boston is now they're settled and they're ready to go, and we can see just by that 4-goal lead. Good play from Will Neff all around.
It's really come a. See that play again.
Yeah, Will Neff, after he made that grab on the long toss huck, I believe was from Teddy Brouwer-Jarris, he finds Hirschberger. Hirschberger was battling a migraine earlier tonight, so it's good to see him out there, but nice point there from Boston.
Hirschberger, one of those guys, very versatile guy. He can go both ways offensively, play on the defensive side of things, and Jason Adams loves having a player that classification, very versatile player that can play on both sides.
Looks like Neff might have gotten an unsportsmanlike conduct banned, and that pushed Boston. This is a very deep pull into the wind.
Yeah. It was probably deserved in hindsight when you think about it. You need to have that no tolerance rule at some point. So they might as well just go across the street and pull it downfield. Let that thing just hang up there like a helicopter and come on down.
And given the situation, that's a pretty good pull.
Absolutely. Kolek, short field. DC needs to stop this 4-goal run. They need to do it now with just above 2 minutes remaining till halftime. Looks like they're going to cash in for one. Nice play. Jeff Wodach on the receiving end. Likes to go deep. That's his skill, and he comes up with a score.
Well, the good field position ends up being a great opportunity for DC, and they capitalize. Easy score there. Kolek starting things off.
That stops the 4-goal run, and boy, they needed that.
See it right here again. Nice cut there from Wodach. Trying to beat Neff. Neff maybe a little frustrated after everything, and Wodach ends up making Neff pay the price.
Now let's see if they can come up with a stop. 13-9 you scored, 2:12 remaining till the halftime. At the half, plays of the week from all the outstanding plays of last week's action. We'll talk a little bit about the West Coast Championship game, won by the Dogfish over the Rainmakers a little earlier today. And, of course, a surprise guest and some other statistical information to pass along. So big halftime coming your way right here from Hormel Stadium.
Ooh,
layout deep try. That was Danny Cantor. He's strong, fast, and needs to play some defense now. Neely, an unsung hero for this current team, trying to play some solid defense against Boston. That's Cooper, however, controlling on the far side. Todd tried to stay in his face on the mark. Seems like Boston always finds those throwing lanes, the angles. Malachek right there, threads the needle. Boy, Now Rico Johnson tried to lay out on the D, just couldn't. That was just threaded in there. Pryal. They're in their rhythm now, Jeff.
Yeah, they really are.
And we get a whistle. Nobody was near Graham. This may go against Boston, and they're going to be backed up 10.
Yeah, it looked like it came away from the disc, but right before that, Boston mixing it up short and long throws very nicely.
That's floated over the top again. Cricket. Clark. Throws one in. Look at the cut and catch. Malachek on the receiving end with his second goal.
Second goal for Malachek. Don't see that too much. There's a good throw from Danny Clark, too. It was kind of scoobers galore there. Graham and Marquette both each throwing one. As we see it again, Danny Clark connecting to Malachek. Kind of a role reversal.
Well, Danny's going to be tired after all the running he did in the second quarter. 14-9, 101 remaining till halftime. And right now the Current really don't have an answer.
No, and it's tough when Boston gets out to these leads because, like I said before, they're not going to let up. They're playing as if they're down the whole time, and that's the way a good team has that mentality in any sport, really. So DC's just going to really have to dig in and try and climb their way and claw back into this one.
Again, that roll on the pull.
Excellent roll.
Absolutely. That's a skill within itself. Kolick will start it. Now they play it out. Molden Howard. The big fella Kevin's had a nice first half here for DC. The head coach player. Hong. Doy. Flicks it to the sideline, and it sails through the hands of Keegan and out of play. Pretty good defense by Hatchett over there. Kind of pressed Keegan just enough.
Yeah, really. I don't think he touched it at all. Just that pressure and crowding him, able to make him drop the disc.
Jaris.
That is an interesting throw.
Absolutely. Boomerangs it back in the play. It's a sky jump and caught.
What a catch.
Oh, Hatchett on the receiving end. Quickly down to Reinhardt, and he catches for the score.
I don't believe what I just saw.
That is the Harlem Globetrotters of ultimate right there.
Oh, man, the connections there on every level. The throw it from Brouwer Jarris, very creative. Hatchet, the layout, you had everything in there. There it is. Teddy does kind of a left-handed backhand throw that angles up. It's anyone's game. Hatchet's the one who lays down, catches it, and this is the easy toss out of it. Reinhardt just has to leap up and get it. Great play there for Boston.
That was spectacular. I think it was Hirschberger that might have kept it alive on that little tip into the maze of players under that traffic on the boomerang.
Sometimes all you can do is try and tip it up and hope that one of your guys comes up with it.
So now a 6-goal advantage. It has been a big second quarter, to say the least, for Boston. That they have outscored DC by 5. First quarter score was 6-5, Boston on top. Now 15-9. They really sparked this lead with a 4-goal run in the quarter. They've had now a 2-goal run as time just about ready to expire. Of course, it won't start until that disc put into play.
Again, another situation again for DC right at the end of the quarter. It's always interesting. I'm sure we're going to see them, especially going into the wind. They're just going to try and huck it down the field best they can.
All right, let's see what the Current can do here in the final 9. Wodash, one thing they did not want to do was turn it over and allow a quick strike. And
there it is.
Here they go at the horn. Todd sends it deep, and everybody who's on the field is going after that. It's up high, it's tipped, and coming down with it, but out of bounds is the Current on the near side. Odd's able to come down with it somehow, but out of play, unfortunately.
Thank the wind on that one. And really just gave it a chance for everyone on the field to get under there, and ends up going out of bounds anyway, but a great thriller to end the quarter.
I'll tell you what, an interesting first half. Second quarter, all Boston. They open up a 6-goal advantage at 15-9. We're going to pause. We'll be back with our halftime show, including the plays of the week from a week ago. We'll set up the potential scenarios for the championship game and a whole bunch more. All that right here on MLU Live, your halftime score from Hormel Stadium in Medford, Massachusetts. The Boston Whitecaps 15 and the Washington, D.C. Current 9.
Hang it up there. Oh, yeah. Trying to strike here. Mark trying to chase it down. The defense is tight. Cross goes over the top and skies and scores.
Oh my goodness! Did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing!
Back here at Hormel Stadium, your halftime score 15-9. The Whitecaps with the lead over the Current. Will Smolinski is down below, the assistant coach with DC. He had some key points prior to the game. He's got some key points to think about going into the second half with his team trailing. Let's go down to Antoine. We'll be going back down to that interview in just a moment, perhaps, but a little audio issue, obviously, there. But, you know, Will had 3 points, Jeff, prior to the start of this game. He had 3 points. D into the break and score, right? O-line keep pace with Boston and play a full game. What do you think?
Well, the first quarter, they kept up pace with Boston very nice. That second quarter, Boston started clicking. They knew what they needed to do, and they pulled out ahead. So their man-to-man defense may be a little bit suspect there against Boston because their offense is really went on and did whatever they wanted. So if they can get back to the way they played in that first quarter in the second half, they can really come back in this one.
So here at the half, we got a lot to do. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll have the plays of the week from a week ago, and there were some outstanding plays. That's all upcoming part of our halftime show. Your score at the half, Boston Whitecaps, they lead by the score of 15-9 over the Washington, D.C. Current. Jeff and I stepping aside. Back in a moment.
Hang it up there. Oh, yeah. Trying to strike here. Mark trying to chase it down. The defense is tight. Cross goes over the top and skies and scores.
Oh my goodness! Did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing!
All right, back here at Hormel Stadium. Again, your halftime score here, 15-9. Boston leading D.C. Of course, the winner of this game taking on San Francisco. Last second win over Seattle to move on to the championship game at Franklin Field in Philadelphia on July 13th, 6 p.m. And, you know, great plays in this game, terrific plays last week. Some of them highlighted as ESPN top plays of the week. But what do you have for us, Jeff?
Indeed. Let's take a look at the offensive play of the week. Who other than number 99 right here tonight, Alan Kolick. This play actually ended up really being the game for DC against New York and got them into the playoffs. You see, it's kind of just anyone's game here. Big pile up, and Kolick reaches over everybody and makes the grab. We'll get a couple of angles, and that was worthy of that big celebration. Here we go again. You watch it, and you see Kolick. He's all alone from our right side and leaps up before anybody else and able to come down with that one-handed grab. And I think we have another closer angle. Yeah, right here. So we'll get more of the Kolick angle. As you see him, he's watching it. He knows exactly when he needs to go, and now he's going to leap. Nobody else has leapt. There it is. Kolick reels it down. What a catch.
That's like having one of those GoPro cameras on the top of your head
really
right there
is.
with that view. I like that.
So great catch there by Alan Kolick. Maybe we'll see another one of those tonight.
He'll need a few, I got a feeling.
Yeah, exactly. But that ended up being the game winner. Friction Gloves catch of the week. Again, DC, again, this one, number 55, Delrico Johnson. This one made it on to Sports Center and a couple other shows on ESPN. It's a great layout grab right there. He leaps. He's got a bit of room, too, in the layout dive with his left hand. Watch it again. Here, he takes the leap. This is a falling disc, falling fast. Delrico Johnson, great layout there, great form, technique, good grab. That is very worthy of the catch of the week. There's our defensive play of the week. We're going to head out west for this one. Seattle, number 11, Reed Koss. Bit of layout D in this one. See right now, this was a close game in there. It's 20-19. Koss right there for Seattle, keeping his team in it. Great layout D. We'll take another look at that play by Koss. Doesn't seem too pumped up though. There's a little celebration.
It's all in a day's work.
That's
I think,
right. See it again here. They think they got that swing play in for a score, and Koss says, "No way, that's mine." So
great layout D. Good
plays
job.
of the week right there from the MLU.
Absolutely. We'll take one more break, and the special guest going to stop in the booth. Unfortunately, not playing today for Boston. He's a little bit injured, but Misha Horowitz is going to join us for a couple of moments up here. So let's take a break. We'll be back with that interview right after this.
Hang it up there. Oh, yeah. Trying to strike here. Mark on the chase it down. The defense is high court goes over the top and skies and scores.
Oh my goodness, did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing.
Right back here at Hormel Stadium, your halftime score in favor of Boston, 15-9 over the D.C. Current. Misha Horowitz alongside, not only from Lexington, Massachusetts, right, growing up there. Spent some time in Connecticut, played in the AUDL last year with the Constitution. Had a chance to watch you play and meet you when you were there. And the thing I like about the reason why you're from Massachusetts, I can say Swarthmore.
That's right. That's right. You can pronounce it with or without the R. It's pretty much optional.
Any way you want. Mika, obviously, Misha, the first question I asked for you, obviously, you're not playing this game. It's got to be breaking your heart not to be playing here today.
It's tough. Been working hard all season to stay in shape and keep the conditioning up. And obviously, the last few games for the Whitecaps, we had the motivation of trying to go undefeated for the regular season, but we were really, working for this game. So definitely, it's frustrating to be on the sideline.
Okay, motivation to go unbeaten for the regular season. The New England Patriots went through that a few years ago.
Indeed.
Take me inside that run to perfection.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't say we quite felt that same pressure the Pats did, I'm sure. But we did, felt like we had a bit of a target on our backs every week. Definitely got the other team's best effort, but it was great. We were able to keep our level of play up and keep motivated. So.
Congratulations. You're now a doctor here in the state of Massachusetts. I know you're excited about that, to actually come home and to be able to do that in the field that you love. Take us through that rigor and how you could continue to play, because I know it's very, very difficult and very time-consuming.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to keep playing, Club Ultimate when I went through medical school, but, I was able to find the time, tried to get as much work done during the week so I could be with my teams on the weekends, but, I figured I was going to have to stop when residency started, but I'm going to keep pushing this thing as long as I can. I'd go insane without the activity, without running around. So.
You got to have it, right? I mean, it's
Absolutely.
so important, and I think it makes you not only a better person, right? Any type of exercise, but of course to play and have that friendship, that camaraderie. But I think it actually perhaps helps you with the books as you move along.
Absolutely,
I've
I
always
think
heard that
so.
story,
I think so. And there's an article in the New York Times a few years ago that when you exercise, your brain actually works better. So.
That's why. Maybe that's my problem. I'm not exercising enough. Get a little round here. But age has something to do with that. Misha, as you take a look at tonight's game, as we focus in on this, obviously you know the Boston guys so well. You're on that run for perfection. You've beaten this DC team 3 times. Was there any doubt at all going in, or just a bunch of confidence going into this game?
I mean, I wouldn't say we have any doubt in the skill on the DC, the skill and the talent on the DC sideline. We're a very confident team. We feel that when we're playing our best game, when our energy's up, and when we're making the right decisions, we're a very tough team to beat. And so we have a lot of confidence in ourselves. But at the same time, we know can't take DC lightly at all.
It's kind of interesting. First, I want to know, how do some of these guys come up with their nicknames like Cricket and Muffin and things like that? Where does that all come from, the origin?
Yeah, to be honest, that's tough to say. I think a lot of those came about in in their high school days and their college days, and these things just tend to stick.
And then the second question, what got you involved with this game of Ultimate, and did you ever expect it to be a pro game when you first picked up a disc?
Yeah, I don't know. I started kind of playing pickup in high school. I went to Lexington High School. They now have a very, very strong team. But when I went there, there was no team that existed. So I ran track and played tennis. And when I didn't have practice, we kind of go down to the center of town and play Team 500. When I went to college, I decided I didn't want to run after nothing in particular anymore. So I picked up Ultimate there and kind of never looked back. I've always felt that the game has a lot of athleticism, really exciting plays, so it's really made for a TV audience, I think. So, I was always hoping that something like this would happen, and it's been great to get to participate.
It's interesting. You think it's made for the television audience. I think ESPN is really starting to grab hold of it. We know they are the king of all when it comes to sports, and it's important that they recognize it, and it does play out well on television.
Exactly, yeah. No, I mean, I think in kind of each time it's been on ESPN, as we've gotten more clips on, they seem to be taking it more seriously, and any mention of dogs at this point is gone from the discussion, so that's always nice to see. It's been great.
And I noticed, I get a chance to go down to D.C. just like you. I travel the same places you guys have gone to play, and to see all the young kids and the enthusiasm with the young folks from age 5, maybe younger, all the way up to the old folks who are 45 and think they can still play, right?
Absolutely. It's been it's been amazing after games to just see all the kids coming down for autographs and things like that. They're really into it. It's amazing to see.
Doctor, I'm going to let you one quick question. You answer it quickly. How do you get back to this game, and what do you want to do to help?
I mean, for this particular game, I'm just trying to do whatever I can from the sidelines. If I'm seeing anything where, not quite doing out to our game plan on defense, trying to help the guys out and just, keep morale up, keep them going.
All right, Dr. Horowitz, thanks for joining
us. Thanks a lot, Don. Thank you.
Good job. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back, of course, just speaking with the injured Misha Horowitz. And we're going to keep it right here as both teams are back on the field. And nice to have Misha stop on by. I didn't know he was a doctor, Jeff. You didn't warn me. I would have brought all my ailments. I have them all listed out on a piece of paper. And
he would have helped you out.
He could have helped me.
I guess I forgot about that one. My apologies.
I love talking to someone from Massachusetts so I can drop those I's, too. So, that's a nice thing. Well, your halftime score here, 15-9, and obviously DC needs to make some big adjustments and do it quickly here in the second half.
Well, they're going to have a tough start here. They are getting the disc to start, but they're going to be going into the wind. But that hasn't been a huge factor for both teams tonight, so we'll see if DC can. I think they've had just some mental mistakes, a couple of drops here, misplaced discs. We'll see. I think they can get back in this.
Well, let's see how they play coming out of the locker room. Kolick will hurry one along out to the right. Hong played it up ahead to Keegan. Keegan had a couple of miscues in the first, but they would have been very difficult catches, one for a score and one to keep a possession alive. He's out there on the offensive side, so not too many changes by DC. I mean, you get to this point, you got to go with what you got.
Yeah.
You know, don't make too many changes. McComb, very solid effort. Doy, now he goes for it all to Keegan. Keegan looking for that body position. Can't get it. Oh, what a catch and what a big fall after the catch. That was absolutely magnificent by Dulabon. We were talking about his athleticism, and he showed it there.
Yeah, spectacular catch. That was really anyone's disc, and Dulabon, what a leap. That might be the catch right there, the throw. That could give DC some momentum. We'll see. That was a big play as we see it again right now. First starts off with the throw from Doy. It floats up for a while. Again, they were going into the wind, and Dulabon, he's the last guy to leap on that one.
I want to know how he got up to celebrate after making that catch. That was sick.
Landed right on his back, but all he cared about was that he came down with the disc. So spectacular play.
I felt it up here. Dr. Horowitz, you need it on the field.
Yeah, right? Dr. Horowitz paging.
Wow.
Well, the turf's new. It's a little bouncy. Maybe that helped.
Absolutely. Yeah, those little rubber balls are still stuck down into that turf down there. They use old sneakers from what I hear, too, and they grind them up.
Yeah.
Nice play by Graham on the far side. He just kind of did his thing in the first half. Very consistent.
His thing is good.
Absolutely. Taylor, who had a nice first half, will lay it on back to Brandon Malachek. And we get an infraction. Something going on downfield again, away from the disc.
It's a little too much contact.
I think we're going to see DC try to pick it up from that physical standpoint here in the third. Low throw, nice scoop. It was Taylor going down low. That's not easy. He's tall.
No.
Cricket. Oh, nice fake right there. Just blew away the mark. Cantor going, well, what just happened to me? Marquette, another fake. Cantor staying right tight with him, trying to stretch out, and they both go down. They tangled feet. What's your call there? Is that traveling, or is it going to go against a D?
Just a foul, I think.
Good look.
Varieties of fouls in Ultimate. They're laughing about it.
Danny Cantor from Cornell University. I love Ithaca, New York. Beautiful, beautiful place. Boston, very patient. Time coming off that clock as they just move it to the far side. Malachek, now he'll flick it in for the score. Clark again on the receiving end, shaking the D.
Danny Clark's having a heck of a night right now. Great cuts again. That's 4, yeah, for Clark. And he always just seems to be right in the back of the end zone making that across the field cut as we see Boston did a nice job swinging around, and Malachek, he's got room to make a throw. Clark making that horizontal cut in the back of the end zone. Perfect timing, perfect placement.
Yeah, Danny Clark, they actually called the forgotten man in the rotation by head coach Jason Adams.
I don't know how you can forget about Danny Clark.
That's what it says. Look at the note. That's a quote. Forgotten. Deep. Not today. I think he meant in the sense that he doesn't get all the star power that some of the other guys
That's true. You don't hear about him a lot.
That's right.
He might be an older guy on the team, too, but he sure doesn't play like it.
I'm fond of the older guys throughout the league, by the way. Good pull. Of course, that wind is at the back of Boston on that pull. We'll see if DC can get it going. First possession, very good here in the third. They catch in with a goal. They throw a little low. Work it patiently to the side here. That's Dulabon. Didn't see much of Dulabon in the first half. Maybe a secret weapon here in the second half. Oh, that throw awry.
Trying to lead his man a little too much.
Kola couldn't catch up to it. Long's throw just a little too long, and Boston now with a chance. 16-10. You won't see a timeout, I think, to put the O-line players out. Now let this D-line cash in, perhaps. Whoop. Reinhardt. Well, sometimes you get all those little bounces, borrow jars. That kind of trickled up through his legs, didn't it?
Yeah, he kind of bounced, didn't know where it went, and grabbed it to keep it on top of him.
Simmons, the toss in. Did he get it on the far side?
Did.
Scrambling Reinhardt on the score.
Well, he had the bobble before, so let's try and reward him there with the score. Seth with a nice layout grab there. Couldn't quite tell if he had it there at our angle, but Seth Reinhardt getting involved now.
Did a great job to keep his balance long enough to make the catch.
He's a big guy, too. I bet sometimes that isn't the easiest task for him.
Looks like he was going to keep that disc to put on the mantle somewhere.
Here we see it again. There's the bobble first, so we're going to get a couple of replays. That was the bobble that he kept alive, and then the little toss over to him. I think maybe he was a step later, too. He had to make the layout grab. But
yeah, I'm not going to give him any style points on the score. No style points. On the grab to keep the possession alive.
Yes,
yes,
absolutely. But a good grab all the same.
6:38 remaining here in the third. 17-10 now. Boston on top. Big home field advantage. Just think about this. I know I made the trip from New Haven, Connecticut, down to D.C., actually to Arlington, Virginia, to just be part of the broadcast team. I didn't have to run around. And although you feel like that when you're setting up the production, but this team has to come out here and play and travel an extra 2.5 hours to get here.
Right, right. And this is actually Boston's first time playing here in Hormel, so, and they're taking advantage of it.
They really are. But D.C. must have had at least, what, 9 hours?
Oh, yeah.
From
yeah.
Virginia to here. And there's a score. Nice job by D.C. On the receiving end was Ryan Todd, I believe.
Yes. Quick score. That's what DC needs. They need those quick scores if they can climb back in this. And quick score, and then they need their defense to get back out there and shut down Boston, though that is not the easiest thing to do.
This game was close to the first quarter, 6-5 Boston at the half. Boston 15-9 over the Current. They now lead at 17-11. Really beautiful night now that the sun has gone down. Still have some daylight. Temperature's very comfortable. Game time temperature at the first pull about 84 degrees. Rather humid, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah. Boston's been through a bit of a heat wave the last about the last week and a half or so. So this is a beautiful night.
Belichick to control. Winner of this game to take on San Francisco for the MLU championship. July 13th at historic Franklin Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 6 o'clock for his pull. You want to be there. You know you can pick up your tickets online. And should be a great event. There's some great layout D by Johnson. And all of a sudden the Current coming back to life.
Great defense there by Johnson. Now he's got the disc, a little reward for it. That's what they need. They need stops, and a lot of them.
Need to find some consistency here. They need to go on one of those 4-goal runs that Boston did to them back in the second quarter when they punished them a bit. This is Gordon.
You can see Boston's defense now with the offensive unit being out there has changed up a little, more of a zone. As you'll see 3 defenders try and cover the ground, not let their handlers find lanes as easy. Right there.
That's Neely. You know, it might be an interesting addition, changing skilled players on the fly, similar to hockey here. You know, they have to call a timeout to bring the offensive players out. Maybe you give a couple of guys a change at a certain point. That'd be kind of interesting.
Whole different coaching strategy when
Wouldn't
that comes into
Absolutely.
it.
Jeff Snyder and the gang, they don't want to hear that from me. Cantor.
Enough to worry about.
That's right, exactly. They're doing a terrific job. It's beautiful the way it is. They turn it over. All that passing by the Current. I guess the percentage is starting to go against you a little bit. Oh, they're going to call an infraction. Looked like it was just a knockdown on the disc, but all right, Current get it back.
Fans disagree.
And now they'll call a timeout, and that will give them a chance to put some of the offensively skilled players out there. Not that these guys aren't, but the guys that do that bit of work for a living. All right, 17-11, 4:19 remaining. Boston on top of D.C.
The defensive high court goes over the top and skies and scores.
Oh my goodness! Did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing!
All right, Hormel Stadium is whooping it up here tonight. You kind of made note of that during the break there, Jeff.
I mean, we just saw, of course, the big T-shirt toss, and you get the fans up in our face, standing up in the booth. But great crowd on hand tonight. Maybe because they're more close to Boston, fans are able to make the trek out a little bit easier than they did down in Framingham.
I was reading one of the social remarks concerning the game being moved here to Medford, and they said, that is great. It is closer to Boston, easier for me. Only problem, I got to go to work an hour after the game starts. It didn't help anyhow for one ultimate fan out there, MLU fan, of course. Out of the timeout, DC and Moldenhauer controlling on the far side. We're in the third. Just about 4 minutes left. Keegan skies for one. Nice little catch there. They need to cash in. Moldenhauer. Let's see his coaching skills along with his playing skills come into play on the field right now. Of course, the head coach of the Current. Kolek, nice flick, on the money, zeroes in, and Todd with his second goal of the quarter.
Well, Kolek doesn't miss too much with his throws, and that was another beauty right there. A forehand flick over to his left.
So 17-12 your scores. DC scores 2 consecutive. Good look at Todd after the goal. You got to be tough to play this sport.
Well, you got to play like there's no tomorrow in the playoffs, and Cantor knows that, and he's coming back out after he's been taped up, slinged up.
.349 remaining here in the third. How can DC put up another defensive stand against this talented Boston squad? If you're just tuning in, you're watching the MLU Eastern Conference Championship game. The winner of this game to take on San Francisco. Nice win over Seattle earlier on the West Coast. Still trying to figure out how they started earlier than us on the West Coast. Everything's always starting later.
It's afternoon games.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool to know the opponent here before we go off here. To the near side. That's Josh Cricket Marquette controlling. Graham going to huck it downfield. And it's going to be a timing play. It's up for grabs. It's going to be batted away as the Current defense able to converge. Just too many numbers that time around. No foul call, says the public address announcer down below. Who is that banged up? I never saw the number.
Clark.
It is my man, Danny
Clark. He had 2 defenders crash into him, and he looks a little shaken up.
Hopefully he'll be okay. We'll take another look at that.
See, the throw from Graham, it was an accurate throw, but Clark is the only Boston player back there, and 2 defenders for DC, and they smack it. Oh, and you see the crash, and it looks like one of the players landed on Clark. Brian Marshall landed right on Clark's stomach, so he's going to come off.
Yeah, it looks like he'll be okay.
Clark battled an ankle injury earlier in the season, but this looks like it was more in his chest area. Maybe he just had the wind knocked out of him.
Well, there's a lot of weight going up and coming down quickly.
Yeah. It's not fun.
No foul ruled. So we'll be in the possession of the Current. They have gone on a 2-goal run. You get another one here. Things start to get very interesting. 17-12 you score. Current trying to work to the middle of the field now. That's Marshall. Marshall needs to select. He does to the far side.
Boston still working that zone defense with the offensive line out there.
Keegan with a look. Throws it out near side to Cranston. And he dropped it. I think he just took his eye off that. Cranston had a huge play in that win over the Rumble last week. It's funny, sometimes you make a gigantic play and then it looks like the easiest of them all and you can't make them. That was easy for Willie Neff as they cash in on the turnover.
I'm sure Cranston wants to get that one back because Boston capitalizes fast after that, and that was an easy score for the Whitecaps.
Yeah, without resistance.
Yes, exactly. Those are the kind of mental mistakes you can't make out there. I think Cranston was just trying to look ahead to the next play before concentrating on making that catch. Take a look at it again. Taylor with a nice throw, and Will Neff is all alone in the back of the end zone. Will Neff, a defensive player out there with the offensive unit, and he's the one that ends up getting the score.
Taylor with a couple of nice assists today.
Yeah.
A couple of nice passes. Good look at the Current. And that is the Boston Whitecaps. Whitecaps lead by 6, 2:31 remaining here in the third quarter. Nice to be with all of you right here on MLU Live. Eastern Conference Final. These two teams have worked so hard to get to this point. A lot of long road trips, late nights getting home, a lot of practice time. Schaffner's going to huck one down the field. It's up for grabs, and it's knocked away from Dulabon. You know, he could never find that space, that positioning right there. That was just great defense by Sean Doherty.
Sean Doherty, right positioning, good leap.
Now Boston trying to attack immediately on the flick down the field by Waite to the back line, and it's caught for the score by Doherty.
He did everything on that one. He hit the D. How'd he get down the field that fast? Doherty with a great run. You don't see him too much out there on the field for the Whitecaps, but when he's out there, he's going to make you pay, and that was a great defense. We'll see it here again, the throw from Waite. Good flick down the field, and Doherty's chugging along, catches up to it, and leaves his man in the dust. Great play by Doherty.
They like to call him Tubbs, and that was bookends,
That's right?
right?
That's right.
Hard-nosed player, Sean Doherty, Tubbs. Not for being out of shape, they don't call him Tubbs, that's for sure.
Said, we got to find the origin of all the nicknames.
Absolutely, absolutely. 19-12 is your score now with 1:52 remaining in the third. Boy, do they turn it up a notch on that change of possession.
They move so fast, too.
They do. They really do. They're transitional players. Exciting to watch. Very special. Well, I would imagine the Dogfish are watching this game, trying to take some mental notes, right?
And that'll be interesting considering there has been no interleague play, or interconference play, I should say, between the teams in the regular season. So it'll be the first time whoever wins this one sees the Dogfish.
Here on the East Coast, of course.
That's right.
Yeah, everybody in the West Coast gets a chance to enjoy them out there. Of course, you can always watch the replays on the MLU website. They did a spectacular job with that.
Again, and I'm sure half the players still know each other anyway.
Moldenhauer trying to find it, and it's going to be knocked away. They're going to say no illegal contact as Roth had the defense on Moldenhauer. Boy, he had to make up some ground, and he did so, and size.
Ooh,
nice
grab.
catch.
That was Terp.
This is Anderson. Anderson had perhaps the first ever catch that was featured on an ESPN highlight reel last year. Anderson controlling. He ran about 70 yards.
He's also a great trumpet player. Played the national anthem at one of the Whitecaps home games.
Really?
Yes.
I'll have to invite him to my house. This is Taylor, flicks it along out to the right. Simmons lays it up. Anderson on the receiving end, right on cue for the score.
I must have known we were talking about him, so he wanted to showcase some of that leaping ability. He's a smaller guy, too, but he makes a nice grab right there. A couple of good throws. Very involved in that point for Boston.
Well, the lead grows to 20-12. DC thought they might be getting back into things when they went on that little 2-goal run, but now Boston has strung together 3 in a row to up it to 8 points with 28 seconds remaining in the third.
Yeah, and it all started back at the other end of the field with the catch that Moldenhauer couldn't make. Terry Roth was just kind of in his face. I don't think Roth actually hit it. Moldenhauer just missed the grab. It's good look there at Anderson celebrating.
And Jason Adams, the head coach. He's excited. I guess he's been a terrific coach at a couple of different levels as Jason Adams.
I believe he's currently the coach of the Northeastern girls team.
Indeed he is.
Played at the national tournament.
Well, the Current are going to need a miracle here over the next, let's call it 10:28 of time. A score here would certainly make them feel much better about their chances in the fourth quarter, but they're down to 20 seconds. Schaffner, terrific throw, will edge that one along to the far side to Wodash. Wodash. Cantor. Schaffner with 4 seconds left. Look at that. That is scouting him, because they did not give him any opportunity to use that forehand flick or hammer it anywhere, didn't they?
Good double team there for Boston. Yeah, you're right, Don. Not allowing Schaffner there any sort of room. He's still walking up.
They may let him walk all the way to the goal line. They're going to reset the clock is what they're going to do. Take it back up to 10 seconds.
This is a perfect amount of time given the field position for DC.
Schaffner. And he threw that one right into the bait of Myers. Myers going to have it hucked all the way down the field. Do they score? It would count. It's knocked away. Schaffner going back in a battle of wills and knocked that away.
Heck of an effort, though, there by Chris Waite for Boston, but Schaffner's at least got to get the D after they couldn't get the score.
Absolutely. Waite and Schaffner in quite a battle. And the quarter will come to a close. We're back with the fourth. Boy, Boston just 10 minutes away. 10 minutes away from meeting San Francisco for the MLU championship. Back with all that after this.
Hang it up there. Oh, yeah. Trying to strike here. Mark trying to chase it down. The defense is tight. Court goes over the top and skies and scores.
Oh my goodness, did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing.
All right, back here at Hormel Stadium, 20-12 the score. Boston on top of DC, and all the folks mesmerized with what's going on down there between the quarters here, Jeff. What's happening?
Yeah, this is pretty much a good in-between period timeout tradition here for Whitecaps games. They got a disc golf goal out there, and the fans try. It's kind of like a chuck-a-puck for hockey. They try and get the little smaller toy discs in the chains there, as we see. And I gotta say, This is the first time all season I've been to a lot of these games that I've seen one disc go in, and there's about 4 in there tonight. So clearly some ultimate players, maybe some disc golf players in the stands for this one.
Absolutely. Looks like a fun fun backyard game, too. I may have to pick up one of those somehow. Well, this is an interesting point if you like little silly stats that I have for you. Really just scores of how things have gone through the quarters. 6-5, 1-goal lead for Boston after 1 quarter. 15-9, a 6-goal lead after 2 quarters. The lead is now 8 goals at 20-12. You see the what's going on here? It's just increasing with every quarter.
Increasing. I mean, it sounds almost redundant to say, but you win the quarters, you win the game.
Yeah. And they're winning the quarters. So let's see what happens here in the 4th quarter. 10 minutes left. San Francisco awaits the winner. If you've never been to Franklin Field, a couple of little points concerning all that at Franklin Field. Of course, Franklin Field, last place the Philadelphia Eagles won a championship, which is pretty cool. You can tailgate and have some fun there. Concession stands are unbelievable. So if you want to go to the beautiful city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, and give the MLU some love, come on out on the 13th of July. Guaranteed to be a great time.
It's some tailgaters here tonight.
Absolutely.
I think that's when you know you've made it, when you get tailgated.
Tailgaters, absolutely. Malachek underneath it. Can he get it? Skyson got it. 2 defenders hunting him down. He came up with a catch.
Great timing on his jump by Malachek, and just reaches up and gets it. These are the guys we've seen. We saw Anderson at the end of the last quarter, Malachek. These are the guys that don't have the height for Boston and still able to jump up there and make the leaping ground. That's Malachek's 3rd score, I believe, tonight. As we see it again, Pryal with the great throw. And the Muffin Man playing again. And Malachek just leaps up before anybody else. And he doesn't normally score a lot. He throws them, and that's 3. The hat trick.
Can't we find a newer version of the Muffin Man song, perhaps? There's some creative guys down below, some women who enjoy this sport. Let's update that song just a little bit. Because I like when Malachek scores. But once there's enough on that song, I got a feeling. It's all part of the atmosphere, the fun of it all. 21-12 now. They continue to play it down below. Good look at the Boston team. All smiles, and why not? They're that much closer to a big showdown with San Francisco. Going to the game, Jeff? You're going to be there for that?
I should be there.
Awesome. Kolek. Nifty little flick there after the fake to shake the mark. They work the give and go along the sideline. Now Keegan. Kolek. Good to see DC working hard. Trying to get back into this game. They do have time. But I think they need to move it down more quickly than this.
Yeah.
Kolek gets open downfield, and they lay it out. Oh, what a nice catch. Moldenhauer,
Beautiful.
That was pure desire.
No rust for him.
To the near side. Todd. Moldenhauer, and in for the score. That's well done. And on the receiving end, Alan Kolek. I think that's the first goal for Kolek.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Don. McCulloch, a nice job there. Really, the highlight of that one was the layout by Moldenhauer. You see it again. DC did a nice job working that near sideline, and Kolek with a great cut. If you're going to start a team, you want a guy like Alan Kolek because he can do it all. And
That's right.
He's a workhorse out there. He's quick. He can throw. That's the guy. You're putting together a team. You want that type of player on it to start.
He's got all the tools. He's got the length.
That's right.
Speed.
A good attitude.
Mm-hmm. Good attitude. There's the Whitecaps ready to receive this pull. We have not been speaking of the wind as much of late. Maybe it has subsided somewhat.
Let's see, looks like Danny Clark's back out there after he hurt his chest in that 3rd quarter.
It keeps my interest peaked. He has 4 today.
There he goes.
I'm looking for his autograph after the game, the way he's played today. To the near side. Pryal, and he was touched up a little bit by Cranston. Therefore, the infraction. Maybe you can explain that. Can you explain those type of those infraction calls there?
Like I said, there's a lot of variety with them, but as we get another one, it's just this one's going against Boston. But it's really, you can't really push or sort of. It's a non-contact sport. You can't push and you can't rip the disc away from the handler or hit someone when they catch it. So as I think we saw a push off right there. So a couple of fouls right in a row.
DC trying to cash in. They rotate it back out top and slow it down with Neely. Cranston. Back to Neely. Fakes the hammer. Haven't seen many hammers today. Maybe the wind had something to do with that. Salmi will float it over far left. Cranston. Time ticking down. That is valuable time. This is a long possession considering where they took possession. Salmi looks inside. Nothing going on. Going to have to hurry here. He just had to force that up, Jeff, to Neely.
Yeah, good mark there. Although the refs call the marks, but a good defensive play there for Boston.
Low throw, and they turn it over. Neely's toss just a little too low for Cranston to scoop up off this beautiful turf here at Hormel Stadium. So Boston back in possession. Graham on the far side to control now. Cobb trying to guard him. That is not an easy task.
They were looking for Cooper in the end zone.
They'll just play it back to Graham again. Graham holding it. Edges it across field.
Tough throw. Nice grab.
That's Brian Zid. And in for the score to Clark. Another one for Clark.
He's still grabbing that chest a little bit, so I'm not sure if that's hindering him, but he able to come up with a nice grab there. Zid just wasn't quite in all the way. Nice throw from Zid. Zid not a big handler here, as we see. This is a tough one to read for Zid. And kind of cut all the way across, and he finds Danny Clark right in front of him.
But Danny Clark, as I update my book, 6 goals today. He scored 6. One in the first quarter. Got it all started. Had a big second quarter with 3.
Picking up his play for the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. The good ones do, don't they?
That's right.
So you got 6:20 remaining here in the fourth. 22-13 the tally. Boston looking to win their 11th in a row. It was interesting when we had Dr. Misha Horowitz on at halftime talking about that feeling and trying to relate it to the championship run by the New England Patriots. Of course, they lost in the Super Bowl to the Giants, but that year of near perfection, how difficult, how does it weigh on your mind? And he did remind me it's not quite the same.
It's a tough thing to remind a Boston fan.
Yes, indeed.
Speaking from personal thoughts and experience.
Oh, players just collided, cutting each other's way. They just knocked each other down. Boy, Doy and Miller, I believe, colliding. Looks like they'll both be okay.
That's the last thing you want to see, especially both teams. They said coming in about as healthy as they've been in a while. You don't want to see any injuries.
Nearing 5.5 remaining. And it's 22-13. You're right. Now for Boston, you just want to stay healthy as you can. I think you mentioned Horowitz, the only guy out of the lineup today, right?
Yes. You know, it's tough sometimes describing to people, a nice grab right there by Moldenhauer. It's tough sometimes describing to people that a non-contact sport, when they don't know too much about it, there can be a lot of big injuries still.
That's easy to twist an ankle, fall on a shoulder, lay out like that, and have another player fall on top of you. Great defense.
Hirschberger, great layout D.
Wow. Nice play by Hirschberger. Dynamic player.
And was a game time call today with that migraine.
Yeah, that's right. couple of aspirin maybe helps out. There you go. Player way down the field at his weight. Makes the catch as he skids to his knees for the score.
What a throw by Teddy Brauer-Jarrett. I think Teddy likes to toy a little bit with his opponent when he gets it going. I played with him in an indoor league back in the winter, and I used to see him throw a couple here and between his legs, and that one right there, a good example that he knows he can kind of curve it out like that as we see it again. Look at this. It looks like he's going to throw it down the sideline, but it takes that angle, and Chris Waite waiting for it.
He had that Harlem Globetrotter throw back in the first half.
Right.
Remember, end of the first half, that crazy boomerang back in the play.
We don't see Teddy score a lot, but if you're looking for an interesting, creative throw, that's the guy you want to keep your eyes on.
It is all Boston tonight. They lead by 10 at 23-13. It was interesting. Go back to the first meeting, these two teams, and Washington scored a total of 19 goals. In their second meeting, they only tallied 13 when they lost 24-13. So the defense of Boston can certainly drive you a little bit crazy. What do you like about the Whitecap? Where's their strength? Is it the offensive guys or the guys who go out there and play the defensive side?
It's really a tough question. I'm going to say the defense. I mean, I love the offense too, but their defense is so good.
And they score.
That's right, at turning defense into offense. That's been their trademark all season. So now we'll see it right here.
There's a long huck. It's going to hang up there beautifully, and it's going to be caught on the run. And really getting scraped up was Terp a little bit. Will they call it a goal there? Indeed, I think they will. No goal. One of the officials had his arms up like he wanted a goal call. Why not? I thought, momentum kind of pushed him in there, meaning the opponent.
Sometimes maybe the ref's getting a little excited too.
Yeah, right, exactly. No catch to the near side by Terp. Fans want more here.
Well, Boston's a big hub for Ultimate. There's a lot of players in the area that play.
It's very encouraging to see the nice crowd here today, and I was very pleased with the crowd in Arlington, Virginia last week. It was outstanding rooting on the DC Current. Absolutely outstanding.
Great game.
It really was a good game. Had all the emotions of a playoff game. Current trying to work the sideline here. They really fed off that home energy, too, the home fans. There's a hammer. Haven't seen that in a while. That was Doy. Wodash, nice catch. On in, lays it up for McComb, and he'll catch it for the score.
That was an interesting throw right there. DC getting there. Wodash with the throw. Finding their own guy, making the creative puts there for DC.
Makes it 23-14.
So, looked like it was a floating scuba. See, it wasn't Wodash that made, that was Ong. And reading it all the way was McComb. Nice point there for DC.
Lead down to 9 with 2:59 remaining. It's going to be difficult, but who knows? Ulti-Photos, the official photography partner of Major League Ultimate. Ulti-Photos features the elite core of ultimate photographers across the United States and Canada who are passionate about the game. And they're able to cover your ultimate tournament and capture incredible photo memories also. Check them out at www.ultiphotos.com for their complete game coverage of the MLU. I think they'll be out there for the championship game, right?
I hope so. They do some great work.
And it looks like it's going to just turn into a huck show. That was a squeeze between a couple of defenders and knocked away.
Tough play for Dave Truesdale right there. Glad to see he didn't get hurt on the play, though. He's another guy that was out for a long time, made his comeback, I think, 2 weeks ago for Boston. Boston had a thin roster at one point.
Ooh. Layout attempt. That was Marquette. I think that was Cricket, was it? Was that Cricket? Yes, indeed, going after that. Trying to play some D. Just above. 2 minutes remaining here. 23-14 your score.
And Cricket's layout D attempt right there is another example of why Boston has that perfect. They're up by 9 right now, and he's still sacrificing his body trying to make the plays.
They play to the end. They double team there.
Relentless.
Absolutely. DC trying to get something going. We got a whistle. Looks like a timeout to be called, indeed, by DC Current. We have a timeout here with a score 23-14. And we'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more after this.
Hang it up there. Oh, yeah. Trying to strike here. Mark on the cage it down. The defensive tight court goes over the top and skies and scores.
Oh my goodness, did he get that? Did he get that? Amazing!
Good look at the crowd enjoying the action here today. A lot of Boston Whitecap fans here. And I would imagine a few DC Current fans made their way up, and
Yeah.
the DJ who entertained so many.
Yeah, that was a good touch putting in the DJ tonight. I think he's pumped up the crowd a lot tonight too, in addition to Boston's play.
He's done a terrific job. Got a lot of gear down there, too.
Yeah.
So they got 1:45 remaining on the game clock. 23-14 the score. San Francisco awaiting the winner of this one. Looks like it will be the Boston Whitecap. Looking forward to the MLU championship game. Hope you can be there at Franklin. It's a great city. A little cheesesteak after the game downtown.
Sounds good.
I tried out 2 different places within an hour. Didn't feel too well after that.
I can imagine.
I could be a good judge of where to go, though. Kolick to control. So many different things to do in Philadelphia. Great downtown area, wonderful restaurants. Oh, that's bobbled along. This is Keegan. And the long huck. And that just spiked too long and no chance.
That was a bullet throw.
It was. Oh, that's not that quick.
He had room with no man covering him on the backhand throw there, and showing his talent there with the huck. But that one just kind of zipped right through everybody.
Schofter, I think, taking his anger out on the,
Maybe
on
a
the
little
disc
bit.
right there, a little, 55 seconds left. Whitecaps are going to win their 11th game in a row. Not an easy thing to do.
Not at all.
They have most certainly been challenged. This team right here gave them their toughest competition early in the year. Long flick huck down the field to the back line, and trying to get to it was Reinhardt, could not. Reinhardt with some big moments today. So down to 38 seconds left. Well, you can't say this Boston team doesn't travel well. I mean, they won all their games on the road. They've won all their home games at Bowditch, their original home. And
Yep.
now here today, it looks like they're going to win in Medford.
These guys have been playing together for so long on club teams. I got to actually ride the bus with them when they went down to Philadelphia and New York the last time they were there. And you could tell they're all buddies out there, and they've got a great chemistry between them, and that's just from their years of playing on the same teams and playing against each other too. So I think a lot of them were pretty glad to, those who were not on the teams previously, to come together finally.
Current in possession. We're down inside 10 seconds. And our championship series is now set. San Francisco and Boston will battle for the MLU championship on July 16th. Should be a great one. Looking for, is it the 16th or the 13th? Just lost my mind. The 13th.
Yes.
Yes, the 13th. 23-15, your final score right here as Boston with a win. Not going to call it easy over DC, especially through that first quarter or so, but then all of a sudden they just started to creep away.
Yeah, Boston at first quarter, DC did what they needed to do and stay in it, but Boston capitalized and the rest of the way and ran away with it pretty much.
All right, that's going to do it for our broadcast here from Hormel Stadium in Medford, Massachusetts. And, Jeff, before I let you go, a couple of players, one from each side, who impressed you here today.
Well, Alan Kolek's the obvious one for DC, but I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to say Schaffner. Schaffner had a great game. Did I steal the one you were going to say?
No.
Schaffner did have a great game, and then I'll have to go with your guy,
There
Danny
you go.
Clark.
I was getting a little nervous, so you were going to forget about him when you went Schaffner.
No,
All right.
Danny Clark can't deny those 6 scores. So great game for those guys.
Absolutely. Job well done by Jeff
Thank
and the
you.
rest of the gang, Matt and everybody else. Okay, for my buddy, Jeff Poster, I'm Don Boyle, and the MLU gang behind the scenes. Good work on the production. Your final, 23-15. Boston moving on to the championship on July 13th. They take on the Dogfish of San Francisco. Goodbye, everybody.
To the championships of Major League Ultimate in its inaugural year.
Boston looking to win their 11th in a row. It was interesting when we had Dr. Misha Horowitz on at halftime talking about that feeling and trying to relate it to the championship run by the New England Patriots. Of course, they lost in the Super Bowl to the Giants, but that year of near perfection, how difficult, how does it weigh on your mind? And he did remind me it's not quite the same.
Tough thing to remind a Boston fan.
Yes, indeed.
Speaking from personal thoughts and experience.
Well, players just collided, cutting each other's way. They just knocked each other down. Boy, Doy and Miller, I believe, colliding. Looks like they'll both be okay.
That's the last thing you want to see, especially both teams. They said coming in about as healthy as they've been in a while. You don't want to see any injuries.
Let's hear it for the defense, Boston!
Nearing 5.5 remaining. And it's 22-13. You're right. Now for Boston, you just want to stay healthy as you can. I think you mentioned Horowitz, the only guy out of the lineup today, right?
Yes. You know, it's tough sometimes describing to people. Nice grab right there. It's tough sometimes describing to people that a non-contact sport when they don't know too much about it. There can be a lot of big injuries still.
That's easy to twist an ankle, fall on a shoulder, lay out like that, have a fall on top. Yeah, great defense.
Hirschberger, great layout D.
Wow. Nice play by Hirschberger. Dynamic player.
It was a game time call today. Migraine.
Yeah, that's right. Couple aspirin, maybe helps out. There you go. Player way down the field. At his weight, makes a catch, and he skids to his knees. For the score.
What a throw by Teddy Browach. I think Teddy likes to toy a little bit with his opponent.